But before I hop right into this video, I'd like to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video, SeatGeek. Now, I know you guys have already heard of this app, but if you haven't, I would highly recommend you guys go check it out. SeatGeek is the app that takes out confusion out of buying a ticket. Be it a game, Broadway show, concert, whatever the case may be, they got you. And they even give you an out of 10 scoring on each ticket to know if you're getting a good or a bad deal. Green good, red bad. And if you're still kind of iffy on it, if you use my promo code ModernHoops, you'll get $20 off your first purchase, and there will be a link to it in the description box below. And remember, if you use my promo code ModernHoops, you'll get $20 off your first purchase, so go check them out. Markelle Fultz, Dejounte Murray, Michael Porter Jr. Now, what would be considered a successful season for these guys? At face value, it might sound like an easy question or answer, but if you really think about it, due to injuries and unfortunate situations and their future projections, it makes it a bit hard to pinpoint what a good season would look like for them next year. For example, if you look at someone like Pascal Siakam, it's easy for us to say, well, a good season for him next year is if he's able to make that jump and become a 20-point per game scorer for them. Or another example we could use is Donovan Mitchell, and a good season for him next year is if he's able to average 20 points on good efficiency. But if we look at someone like Markelle Fultz, it's not as easy for us to pinpoint what a good season for him would look like next year because of injuries and past situations. Because realistically, we don't expect him to be a 20-point per game scorer or even 15. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about what I think would be a successful season for the guys I named: Markelle Fultz, Michael Porter Jr., and Dejounte Murray. But before I get into the video, you guys already know how it goes. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. It really does help me out a lot. And share and subscribe for more dope NBA content. And don't forget to hit that bell to stay notified when I post a brand new fire video. And if you're feeling generous, give your boy a follow on the gram. But all that out of the way, let's get right into this video. So coming at number 1 is Markelle Fultz. Now for me, a successful season for Markelle Fultz is if he is able to stay healthy. Fultz being able to stay healthy and show us that he's past all the health drama issues that plagued him during his first 2 seasons in the league is a successful season for Markelle Fultz. Now, for a lot of you guys, that may not qualify as a good season for Fultz because, you know, he was the #1 overall pick and he's finally healthy now. But if we're being honest or realistic, it's not fair of us to expect Fultz to average 20 points or even 15 points a game next year. He's only played in 33 games over the course of 2 years. He has shown flashes here and there, but for the most part, he hasn't really been that great when he's on the floor. And you could also assume for a lot of those games, he wasn't even healthy. And since he came to Orlando, the Magic has gone out of their way to downplay expectations for him. This year, for the most part, will be a learning year for Markelle Fultz. So far throughout his career, we've talked more about his health than his actual basketball abilities, and if he's able to change that narrative next year, then that would be huge. Now, as far as on-court production, this is where it gets a bit confusing / difficult, but if he ends the season as an above average point guard, then that would be a huge success. Offensively, I'm not going to expect much from Fultz, but I do expect him to be a good defender next year. So overall, a successful season for Markelle Fultz for the most part is if he's able to stay healthy and be an above average point guard by the end of the year. But coming at number 2 is Dejounte Murray. Now, a lot of Spurs fans are high on Dejounte Murray and think that he could be the next star for them in this point guard driven era, and rightfully so. He's shown a lot of potential in his first 2 seasons in the league. Now, next season will be a big season for Dejounte Murray, and we will truly see if he can make that jump and prove that he could be the next Spurs great. But with that being said, he is coming back from a torn ACL injury and missed a year of basketball. So what would be considered a successful season for Dejounte Murray? Now, Murray is a defensive first point guard above everything else. He's one of the best defenders in the league, and in only his 2nd season in the league, he was named to the NBA All Defensive Second Team. So So now that he's fully healthy and quicker than before, I think one part in order for him to have a successful season next year is to make another All-NBA defensive team, and maybe even first this time. Now, I know that might be a bit far-stretched for some people, but ever since he's came into the league, Dejounte Murray has always displayed outstanding defensive abilities and instincts, kinda like Kawhi Leonard. So the idea of him making another All-NBA defensive team, or even first, isn't really that crazy. Once again, in only his second season, he was named to the NBA All-Defensive Team. Now, we all know that stats don't really favor defensive players like Murray, but as far as offensive production, we don't really expect Murray to average 20 or even 18 points a game, but if he really wants to be the next star for the San Antonio Spurs, we gotta see some type of high-level offense from him. Last season before the injury, he averaged 8 points a game. Now this season, I think averaging 13 to 15 points would be ideal. He just came back from a torn ACL, and although I do think he has improved on his shooting, it might still be a work in progress. Another reason why I think we'll see a jump in his scoring next year is because I think he will be playing more minutes. So overall, for me, a good season for Dejounte Murray is making another All-NBA defensive team with a stat line of 13 to 15 points, 5 to 6 rebounds, 5 to 6 assists, and 1.5 steals a game. I think that's pretty fair, especially coming back from a torn ACL, and if he's able to do this, then the future will be bright in San Antonio. Lastly, coming in number 3 is Michael Porter Jr. So a lot of Nugget fans are extremely excited to finally see Michael Porter Jr. play next season, and as a Nuggets fan myself, I'm pretty excited as well. The kid has a lot of potential, and I'm talking about superstar level potential. I mean, coming out of high school, he was getting comparisons to the likes of Kevin Durant, game-wise. So Michael Porter Jr. has a lot of high expectations heading into the next NBA season. But after missing so much time and not playing in an actual organized game, mixed with the fact that the Nuggets already have a lot of depth on their roster, what would be considered a successful season for Michael Porter Jr.? Now, for the most part, this will be a learning season for MPJ, but first, he needs to prove that he's able to stay healthy, that his body can keep up with the 82-game season, and as long as Porter can stay healthy, it seems reasonably safe to expect his offensive game to translate well into the NBA. Offense and shooting has always come easy for Michael Porter Jr., just like defense is to Dejounte Murray. But unlike Markelle Fultz, being able to stay healthy won't be the main contributor to if he's able to have a good season. He needs to actually produce on the court, because unlike the Magic, the Nuggets are trying to compete for a title. But with the Nuggets already having so much depth, especially at the small forward position, Michael Porter Jr. will have to work for minutes. So I really don't see him playing a lot of high minutes next season. Also, defensively, we shouldn't really expect much from him on that end of the floor. His defense isn't overall impressive, but it is a work in progress. So for me, a successful season for Michael Porter Jr. would look like this: 10.5 points on 52.5 true shooting percentage with 5 to 6 rebounds a game and 1.5 assists in about 25 minutes per game. Now, because of his current situation and what we think it could be, I think that would be a solid / successful season for MPJ. 10.5 points on some reasonable efficiency and 5 to 6 rebounds would be a solid season for Michael Porter Jr. Now, I know it's not jaw-dropping numbers, but if we're being realistic, once again, that would be a great season for him. He doesn't really have to be that great of a defender, but that would help in him getting some more minutes on the floor. I don't really see him winning Rookie of the Year because of the lack of minutes he'll be getting compared to other rookies in the league. But overall, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Realistically, what do you think these guys' season and stat lines will look like next year for it to be considered a successful season? Once again, I'd love to hear your thoughts, but if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share and subscribe for more dope NBA content, and don't forget to hit that bell to stay notified when I post a brand new fire video. And if you're feeling generous, give a boy a follow on the gram. But with that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you all later. Peace.